ever tell you how I got my first rap album? Or what was my first rap album?
No, you haven't.
I know I was teasing it earlier, but I was saying we should say it for the podcast. But yeah, it was. I was in middle school. It was in seventh grade, and at the time I was only listening to rock and metal, Metallica, Led Zeppelin, St. Carlos Santana, just music about guitars and rock and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew there was like hip hop and like pop and stuff like that because I was listening to Wild 94.9 growing up or whatever, the Doghouse. And yeah, it was in seventh grade. We ended up going to the mall, Hilltop. And at that time, it was only CD players still, iPods that had come out. And I was walking around with the CD player. And then, you remember Hilltop, they used to have this photo magic, I think it was called?
Yeah, I think it's still up, actually. Well, I mean, now that they closed Hilltop, but
yeah, that
it was
joint,
still up for a while.
I had a group of friends that wanted to go and take photos. And it was like, I forget what it was. I think it was like $10 a person or whatever.
Mm.
And originally I was like, whatever, I want to go to the mall, so let's go. So I went. But I used to love walking into FYE, the music store that was at the corner in the mall. They used to sell CDs and posters and stuff like that, collectibles of just albums, artists, all kinds of music. And I used to walk in there and just look at albums. And I would buy some, take them home. I ran across this crazy looking cover art. It was a guy in blood. It looked like blood. The whole album was red. And he was just it looked like it was in blood. It was DMX. I thought it was the illest thing. I was like, this looks crazy. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know much about him. I was just like, let me buy this. Let's just see how it goes from here. Mind you, like I said, I was only listening to rock. Only like music that really had like, I guess you could say artists that were playing honest instruments. They were making beats. It was just straight off the recording kind of instruments. Jazz, blues, rock, all that kind of stuff. That's all I was listening to. So when I popped it into my CD player, it was a bunch of like rap and cursing. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I've never heard anything really like it. I've been to parties and I've heard some of it, but I never like paid attention to music like that. But it was DMX. And the album was called It's Dark and Hell is Hot. I'm sorry. I thought it was the craziest thing ever. And then my friends I went with were mad because they were like, no, you can't get in the photo. I was like, I don't really care if I'm in the photo or not. I liked that album. Yeah. So I just wanted to listen to it. And so what I did is when I went home, I wasn't too sure how my parents were going to react to it. So I hid it from my parents. I had to hide the album because it had cursing and it had a whole bunch of words that at that time it was okay to say, I guess, But in my household, it was pretty, I don't know, don't say those words kind of thing. So when I would walk to school or I would go to school, I would have my CD player, pop it in, one headphone in, and I was just listening to it. I would like try to memorize that album. It had some crazy songs. And they had the famous Rough Rider song in there. And that's when I knew, I was like, this song is dope. I was like, oh, this song's crazy.
And he had catchy singles too.
Yeah. There were some hard songs he had. The one song I loved in that album was Let Me Fly. I mean, because it didn't get as much like popularity as it should have, because I guess they play music on the radios that has party, upbeat sort of thing. Yeah. But Let Me Fly wasn't really like that. It was more of a darker kind of song. It was a song of more like, if I can do this, I'm gonna do it. If not, I'm still gonna die regardless.
Yeah.
And that was basically the sentiment of it. That he was gonna do whatever he had to do to make sure he got what he deserved. And yeah, as everybody knows, as of this recording, it's Saturday, April 10th. He passed yesterday, April 9th. Yeah, when I found out that he had passed away, it was kind of crazy. I got pretty emotional. I was texting you. I said I'm basically about to cry.
Yeah.
Because he was the first actual rap artist that I actually listened to. This is before I even heard of Tupac, before I heard of NWA, Ice Cube, all these artists. This is way before. So he was the first album that I ever bought was his. And I saw when I found out that he had passed, And it just strung a little chord with me because it was like I grew up so much, like basically listening to all his albums, all his music.
Mm.
It wasn't popular in my culture, in our culture, the Latin culture, to listen to music like DMX's music.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. You know, it was something about him rapping about his pain that I really connected to.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know.
I feel like it's like that for everyone with a certain artist. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and it's crazy because during that age, kids like to listen to really depressing music.
Yeah,
Because
what is that?
I don't know what it is. Like, as a teen, it just seems like all teens were sad, you know? Like they were all listening.
Everybody hit the emo stage.
Yeah. Like it's like we were going through these phases in life and like being sad was one of them.
It was.
It's
weird how that works.
Yeah, I don't, or maybe it's just the influence of music like that. Like it brings that side out of you.
You think it could be just like the times of the music? Because at that time when we were in middle school and growing up, music was either really hardcore or really sad. And I'm sure there's music like that now, but there's a lot more like party songs now, more like upbeat music now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there were a lot of heartbreak songs.
No, man, the boy bands.
Yeah, I was just thinking of Backstreet. Was it Backstreet Boys? Staring at my heart when I'm with you. Yeah. Was that a heartbreaking song? I don't know.
That song was dope. I want to sing the rest of the song. But yeah, there's a lot of songs like that. And even pop artists were singing breakup songs. And all those breakup songs and the heartbreak songs, they were always on the radio.
Yeah. It
wasn't ever like a really like a hardcore rap, at least that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
You know? That's why it's always kind of weird when I think about it. Like, emo stage. You know?
I mean, I would at least like to think everyone else can agree. Like everyone had that.
Everybody had
emo
right?
stage. Yeah, I was listening like when Evanescence was out. Like she's pretty emo, and like Linkin Park.
Linkin Park was tight. It's always Evanescence, but I get what you're saying. It was the gist of like the genre of the music was more emo than what they should have been, which was like rock or pop or whatever. It's like they had to make that like separation.
Yeah. So do you have like a top favorite DMX song?
Yeah, it's going to be that Let Me Fly. It has a pretty crazy lyric in there. I mean, it's the chorus, which is why I really like it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I should say it. Yeah, I'll say it. Okay. It's either Let Me Fly or Give Me Death. Let my soul rest, take my breath. If I don't fly, I'ma die anyway. I'ma live on, but I'll be gone any day. And that's basically the whole chorus. Mm-hmm. Of course, I said it. I just read it off just read it, but if you listen to it, he raps it in a way where it flows so nicely, but it's still really like almost haunting. It's like I'm still gonna do it regardless of what you're saying. Yeah. And I think that's pretty dope. I really enjoyed it. You have a favorite song?
I think for me, I was more into the mainstream songs that he came out with.
Because he had a lot of those, like you were saying earlier.
So the Rough Rider anthem, I really like that one.
That song went crazy.
The upbeat ones.
That one went crazy. What's my name? He had so many songs.
I'm not making fun of him. That was just iconic.
That was his iconic thing. You know what it means, right?
No, well, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I read that the reason why he did that was because he really befriended dogs. And I don't know if this is true as well, but they're saying like he ran away from home, and since he was in the streets, like there were a lot of stray dogs, so he ended up befriending and like confiding in them. Yeah. So if you didn't have trust in his own mom, why not have a companion, a dog?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because he most of his albums, if you notice, they're dog related, or the cover arts are dogs. Yeah. Or with dogs. Yeah. And yeah, you know, he had a pretty messed up life. He was in and out of jail since he was I don't know, I can't remember, like 12, I think. Mm-hmm. That's why when I picked up his album, read more about him eventually, you know, you read about somebody's life and you're kind of just like, damn, he went through a lot.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. She, it's one of those things where you kind of have to like hopefully pay attention to somebody or just tap in.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody's okay. Or just somebody.
And that's the thing too, because he really did put it out there in his music. And it just makes me wonder whether people really reached out to him.
Yeah.
Because I was also reading an article that he had a really hard time expressing himself, like verbally.
Mm.
I mean, aside from his music, obviously, but he couldn't do that with he's like, in his words, like he said, he couldn't do that in the hood. Like no one wanted to hear that. No one wanted to hear any problems.
Yeah, no.
So he just put it in his music. So even at that, like it just still makes me wonder. Makes just not even only him, just any artist. Like it makes me wonder whether people are really reaching out to these people.
Yeah, there's a weird, like, I don't know if you want to call it stigma or taboo of being just like emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah.
As like a rapper or a gangster rapper or whatever you want to call it, or just a person in general.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird taboo that I think we should get rid of. At least try to.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, it's really sad. It makes me really sad. That's why, like, when I see people post, maybe not all the time, I could be, I mean, everyone does this. Like, they see people post sentimental things and they never reach out.
Yeah.
And that's
they hit them with a like or something like that.
Yeah, that's a cry for help.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think for me, when it comes to like just intense depression, like where they're giving off that vibe, like I'm gonna reach out because I don't know. It just makes me sad. Like it seeing that, and then what if one day something happens to that person and you're just kind of like, oh man, like this person was really posting their feelings on social media and no one probably no one even said anything.
Yeah. I don't like that whole like not that part, but when somebody is to pass and all of a sudden you guys were or are best friends now.
Yeah.
Like where was that love when he needed it or she needed it?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of instances where I don't like to make myself vulnerable, but you notice it. Mm-hmm. And at the end of those days, the majority of the time, I'm not saying that you don't see it, but it's because I do my best not to show it.
Yeah.
You always ask me, what's wrong? Or are you okay? And I'll tell you, and you'll see me, I'll cry, or we'll both cry or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like there needs to be more of that just as friends also, like, within each other, because all of a sudden, everybody, when, I don't know how else to put it, but when DMX passed, a lot of people that I was seeing all of a sudden were like, oh, he was my favorite, or he was my icon, or whatever. Someone introduced me to rap album, to rap music. And, I think when people want to put themselves to that stage of like, oh yeah, he was my best friend, or I love him. Well, were you really there for him when he needed you?
Yeah.
Like that. I feel like that's also what friendship is.
Yeah.
It's friendship. I don't think should just be, I'm here all the time. What do you need? If anything, it's more like I'm here when it's needed. I'm here when it really counts. I'm here in those situations.
Even if that person isn't even your friend, like I think it even has more impact if you don't even know that person.
Oh, yeah.
Like remember the other day I was just telling you I reached out to someone because she posted something really personal.
Yeah. That
made me feel some type of way. And I couldn't go throughout the day without reaching out. And I had to reach out and I'm like, hey, I know we don't really talk. I'm not going to go into the details of like what she said, but I was just like, I know. And I went to high school with her. So I was just like, I know we don't really talk, or we never really talked, but I just want to see how you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I had been through that before.
Yeah.
And maybe not to the extent as her, but it kind of brought back certain memories. And then for her to even still have problems or like still kind of suffering trauma off of that just made me feel bad and kind of feel what she's feeling. So that's why I reached out. I'm like, and after that, like, I can tell she really appreciated it. So I think, like I said, it just makes more impact when you just reach out to anybody.
Seriously. Because I bet you that made her feel good too.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? Maybe like we said earlier, maybe she just got a bunch of likes or I hope you're okay or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I think when you did kind of like went more into it, like, you know, I also experienced this. You whatever else you said, nobody like, it's gonna be okay. I'm here. You want to talk, whatever.
Yeah.
I experienced it too. Things like that. I feel like we should be more with other people. It doesn't have to be strangers. It doesn't have to be friends. It could be family also.
Yeah. I think the way people see it as well is just people are just like, oh, they just want attention.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, but at the same time, like when it comes, at least for me, from my experience, from even if they are seeking attention, depending on the level of whatever they're expressing on social media, I'm gonna reach out because I just don't want to take any chances. Like, if something happens to them, I don't want that over my head. I'm just like, man, I could have reached out. What if I just reached out and that made a difference and they didn't do anything to themselves, or like they didn't.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I just take it seriously. I don't want to bypass any of that anymore.
That like if I can do something about it, I can.
Yeah.
Because I think Marshawn Lynch has said something where he was saying he had a conversation on an interview. He was saying that there's too many people recording when it comes to police violence.
Yeah.
And it just takes somebody to be like, hey, just don't shoot him. Just don't shoot him. That's literally all it takes. Just say something. Reach out to somebody. Make sure they're all right, whether it be an altercation or not, or if it's just a post and just like, you think it's like we said, it could be for a stunt or not. Whether it be fake or not, just reach out like, yo, you good?
Yeah.
Like, yo, you don't have to tell me everything. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me. Like, I don't like opening up. I don't like talking about what I'm going through. But if it helps people to talk, I'll try to let little things out, but not everything. Just to make them feel comfortable in that situation, because I don't want people to feel like it's not okay to talk about what they're going through.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I want to help people feel okay, whether they're hurting, whether they're just it's a stunt or whatever. You know, just for them to be like, you know what, he's going through something too. I'm going through something too.
Yeah.
Just to talk, just to get it out. Who knows? Maybe that good conversation can help somebody.
Yeah, but it's sometimes for some people it's just easier said than done, because I feel like I mean, I still have a hard time opening up, but back then I was just keeping everything inside. Like, I could not. You could ask me a million times what's wrong, and I will not tell you.
It's always a blank canvas.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, like being with you, I feel like it's gone better. Because when you're a couple, you have to communicate. Do
you think it's because we're a couple, or is it just because, like, between us, or is it just because it helped you out with other people?
It's a combination of just because we're together, and then also because it's I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah.
So for me to trust you and be comfortable with you in saying whatever I needed to say, like, helped me. It translated into in the real world, just expressing myself at work or with my friends. It's just because even with your friends, like, a lot of people are not even comfortable.
Yeah.
Like reach or saying what they need to say. Like,
yeah, it's that weird. Like, I don't want to be weak. Let's just have fun.
Or even just being honest. Even it doesn't even have to be sentimental. It could be anything. Or just like they'll ask you for their opinion and you just don't. Sometimes you just don't want to be honest. You know, like, because you don't want to hurt their feelings. But at this point, it's just like you should be. It's obvious. Like, you should be honest. So
I think it comes out that little. Tell them the truth, but at the same time, comfort them.
Yeah.
You know, let them know it's safe to talk about it, but also let them know whether it'd be good or bad, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it's good to have that, sometimes it's not. You know, like with us, as an example, when we talk and you let things out, or I let things out, sometimes we don't say anything. Sometimes we just just sit there and kind of like just look at each other and, while I talk or you talk, vice versa, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Rub each other's heads or whatever, you know, and
Yeah.
just hug it, you know, just hold each other in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things just don't need to be responded to. Sometimes just let somebody talk, let them spill it out, you know. And like you said, there are times that we do need, at least I think, to respond to help guide their mindset to a certain way. Because, you know, my mindset, for instance, it gets pretty dark pretty quick. And I've become really comfortable talking to you about it. Even though it's hard for me to talk, but it's because, you know, it's like you said, sometimes people don't know how to react or how to say things. Mm-hmm. It's that because I know how my mind gets. And when you help me guide my mind out of it, that's what I need.
Yeah. Or just sometimes people just need time for themselves. Like especially when, like for me, for example, when I get upset, like obviously it's hard to really express yourself. So sometimes I just need to step away from the situation and then just express myself.
We, you know, just tap in with each other. You know, overall, that's basically the sentiment. You know, it's really sad and heartbreaking what happened to DMX. You know, if somebody you know is going through something, you don't need to say anything as of like, I'm praying for you, or, you know, talk to me if you need to. You need to let it out. A simple, hey man, hope you're doing okay. I'm here.
Yeah.
Just acknowledge each other, love each other, support each other, hear each other out. You know, it's fun. It's always fun to joke around with each other. You know, clown on each other. That's always fun and good. But at the end of the day, you know, make sure you know that let that person know that they're loved. That if they need something, that you're there. Give them a hug. Lately, you know, with my friends, I'll give them hugs. Tell them I love them. You know, I'm not afraid to tell somebody that I love them. I'm here for them. But at the same time, you know, you can't make somebody talk. That's ultimately up to them, whether they want to talk or not. Rest in peace, DMX.
Yeah.
You were a great soul, man. I've seen videos of him on YouTube with his kids.
Oh, I mean, the video that I saw that was circulating was when he was doing the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah,
the one I sent you. That's
there's so many videos of him with his kids. Yeah, there's even videos with him talking to like certain rappers, you know, holding their hands and praying with them, going on radio shows and praying.
Did he used to date Aaliyah?
I don't really know. Oh, I think so.
Or maybe they were just
close.
Yeah, maybe they were just close.
I really don't know. I saw photos of them, but you know, I don't know. But yeah, there was a video I saw that he took his daughter. What was that slingshot ride? Where you're in a ball and then you're in a seat, you're in a harness, and they shoot you in the air and it bounces back and forth. He's in there. He did one of that with his daughters.
That's cute.
And his daughter's obviously crying. She's a baby. She's a kid. And he's just yelling, "Daddy's here. I'm right here. Daddy's here. Everything's gonna be okay." It was super cute because at the end of the ride, you know, if you look for the video, you'll find it. At the end of the ride, and his daughter gets out, just jumps on his arms, just crying, and he's just laughing about it. And it just shows you, you know, he had a good heart on him. He was a good person. Tap in with each other, guys. And with this one, if the streaming systems allow us, we'll send this one out with the DMX prayers.
Yeah.
Next time, guys. Take care. Rest in peace, DMX.
Bye.
Father God, I am just learning how to pray. Bear with me. First, I thank you for the life of everyone that's here with me. Then I thank you for the love you give me. Why? I don't know. I don't deserve it, and it hurts inside. Many a nights I cried and called your name out loud, but didn't call you when I was doing good, too proud. And still you gave me love. I wasn't used to that. Most of the people that gave me love ended up taking it back. That's something new to me. So I'm asking you for time to adjust. Let me make it there. I will be one you can trust. What I stand for, I put my life on. I do. I guess what I'm asking is, Show me how to stand for you. And I will rap for you, sing for you, reach for you, preach for you, teach for you. I will love you like you love me, unconditionally. And I will always be prepared for whatever the mission will be. Give the nutrition to me, and I'll properly digest it. And when I give it back, I will show you word well invested. And whenever I go, before I go, let me give. Thanks to you, Lord, for my birth, for every day that I've lived. You gave me a love most of my life I didn't know was there. I give you my life because you cared.